What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we are here to talk about the Sugo Medal Exchange update for the month of October. It's going to be a big one this month. We've got some pretty interesting characters from what I initially saw. Haven't had a good read of it yet, but I'm really excited to jump into this video today. We're going to go through all the different tiers and determine which of these characters are actually worth picking up using your Sugo medals on exactly. But before we jump into the video today, I'm going to quickly do a discount multi on the brand new Sugo Fest that just came out right now, the Pirate Rumble Sugo Fest. We're going to do a discount multi. Hopefully it ends up being good. Okay, so here we go against the Pirate Rumble Sugo Fest. Fighter characters featured. Hopefully get a red, maybe get a chance at Garp. No, of course. Of course. What am I missing in terms of Pirate Rumble rare recruits? Obviously the new Don Chinjiao. Oh yeah, the Fujitora and Kizaru from last month would also be really good. Hopefully we can get those Pirate Rumble rare recruits. There's Kobe, who I do definitely have. Let's see. We got the Kizaru. Oh, that's really good. Okay, so that's going to be really nice for shooter teams. I definitely want to try that out. That is amazing. Leo is terrible. We don't want that. Kaku, he's okay. Robin, and then a gold. Hopefully it's another Rumble rare recruit. No, it's Sanji, who I already have at level 150. Well, all things considered, at least we walked away with a new Rumble rare recruit. I'll gladly take that. So let's go ahead and talk about the Sugo Medal Exchange. Let's see what we've got going on for the month of October. Now, starting at the bottom, they're bringing back the World Journeys again, and this seems to be like a constant moving forward. It does seem like these characters are going to be permanent in the Sugo Medal Exchange, which I'm excited for, and it looks like that every single month they're just going to be keeping updating. Now, look, we don't know how far that's going to go, but the fact that they are bringing these back again with the new batch, it gets me excited for the next couple of batches because there's some really good ones coming up. But in this month, they've got Crocodile, Mihawk, and Boa Hancock joining the fray, 100 medals each. Let's break them down really quick. All of these characters are pretty good, by the way, and all of these characters are mainly focused around utility, which is kind of cool. Crocodile, a quick striker driven, and you get rid of 5 turns of burn and attack down, and then if you have a striker or driven captain, he removes poison completely and gets rid of 5 turns of threshold. Like, on paper, pretty good. He doesn't actually see a lot of play, but again, like, on paper, he's actually pretty good. You got Mihawk, who is a strength slasher cerebral, removing 5 turns of special bind and paralysis, and with a slasher or cerebral captain, gets rid of 5 turns of increased damage taken and 5 turns of % damage reduction. Again, pretty good. And you got Boa Hancock, who is a Dex shooter free spirit, removing chain lock and chain down by 5 turns. And then if you have a shooter or free spirit captain, removes 5 turns of bind and 5 turns of defense up. Again, like, all these characters are just so good utility-wise. Personally, I do have Crocodile, which I haven't used too much of, but I really want to pick up the Mihawk and Boa Hancock, so that's definitely what I'll be doing in this month when it comes up. But not too bad. I like that these World Journey characters are all coming back. And then we've got the powerful support effect characters. For some odd reason, they are deciding to put generic rare recruits in here. Remember, these rare recruits are available on every single Sugo Fest, literally ever. So I don't think it's a wise decision, no matter what these characters do. I don't think it's a wise decision to pick up these characters. You should be just conserve your rainbow gems for pulling on a regular banner, and hopefully you pull them there, because trust me, you will eventually pull them. So we've got Whitey Bay with a pretty good support effect. It sees actually a pretty decent amount of play attaching to any slasher, and if you use a bind or despair removing special, you just remove an additional 2 turns of it, so not bad. You have the Lafitte, and if you're aiming to use Blackbeard in any team, this support effect is really nice to have, being able to remove 2 turns of bind, despair, and blindness whenever you're inflicted with it. Just, again, very valuable. Now, Kobe is one of the only 2 support effects in the game that actually removes 3 turns of attack down when you're inflicted with it. He also gets rid of 3 turns of blindness whenever you are inflicted with it too. But the caveat is that he only attaches to Helmeppo and Garp, so his attaching units are very bad. There's not a lot of good characters for these 2 units. But the actual effect itself is incredibly busted. So if you do end up using those 2 characters in a team, Kobe is going to be so nice to have. You've got the Daruma, who attaches to Hody and his crew members, and removing 3 turns of paralysis and special bind to the whole team, by the way, whenever you're inflicted with it, is good, but it's the fact that, you know, when are you ever using Hody Jones and his crew members, it's a little uncommon. Now, one thing I do want to bring your attention to is that at level 4 and 5, he gets rid of Special Bind and Paralysis, but at level 3, he gets rid of just Special Bind. So you may want to get another copy just so you can have one at level 3 and one at level 5 for differing situations. That's something that I think is a very, very wise decision. Then you've also got the Niji for some reason, attaching to any of the Vinsmokes, except Sanji. It's just his brothers and sisters aside from Sanji. 5% base stats, and if you hit a perfect, you remove attack up and enrage. It's terrible. You're never going to be using Niji. We have Ichiji, and if you're inflicted with increased damage taken, reduce it by 2 turns and delay all enemies by 1 turn. Like, that's actually not bad, but a little too niche, because how often are you realistically inflicted with increased damage taken? It's not a very common debuff that you're inflicted with at all, so I cannot really suggest that either. And then Hyozo, very similar to Daruma, attaching to Hody and his crew members, and if you use a special that changes your slots around, he will go ahead and reduce 3 turns of Special Bind and Despair. A very good support effect once again. It does work for the whole team, but you have to use one of Hody's crew members, and it has to be a slot changing special, which is very, very rare, I must say. It's a very, very rare effect, but if you get it to launch, then yeah, it's actually pretty freaking good. But that's all of these regular characters here. I can't really suggest picking them up just due to the fact that they're generic rare recruits. The world journeys are actually pretty good though. I would probably suggest picking up those characters only when you kind of need them, right? Let's scroll up a little bit more. We have a special character for 100 medals, which is the Halloween Bato, special rare recruit, 50% damage reduction, and if you hit 6 perfects during the turn you launch the special, you get an 80% damage reduction in the following turn. Absolutely not. You should not be picking up this character unless if you want it for collection purposes. He's not a good character. And then we've got some treasure map rare recruit characters, Perona, Chiffon, and Sanji, all Halloween themed, obviously, because of the month of October. But let's have a look and see if they're actually worth picking up. We've got Perona reducing the right side character's cooldowns by 1, reducing damage nullification by 1, and gives you a bit of healing. Again, if you need damage nullification removal, it's an option, but I don't think this character is going to see much play. Chiffon, getting rid of 3 turns of bind and attack down and changing empty and badly matching slots into matching. That's not a bad special, but again, like Chiffon, don't know how often she's going to see a lot of play. She only gets rid of 3 turns of the debuffs, which is a bit of a shame. And Chiffon doesn't have that many good support effects that attach to her. The only one that really comes to mind that's going to see any play would be probably V1 Capone. So for those reasons, I don't think Chiffon's worth picking up. And then we have Sanji, who is an int powerhouse fighter. He reduces 2 turns of barrier. That's actually really good. And he locks your slots for 1 turn. And then he only gives you color affinity when you're actually in a treasure map. So you're probably not going to see that either. So if you're just using him in normal content, it's 2 turn barrier removal and a 1 turn all block, which I don't know if that's really valuable enough. No damage dealing special, no nothing. So again, like, these treasure map rare recruits, while they are good, these are not the ones that people want to see come back. At least we are seeing TM rare recruits come back, just not the ones that we really want to see, unfortunately. So now we can get to the Sugo Fest exclusives. Now we have the 150 medal tier, which you can only purchase 3 of. You've got V1 Eneru and Hody Jones. Now remember, both Eneru and Hody Jones have received their level limit breaks with the new batch, and both of these characters in particular are fantastic level limit break legends. Eneru gets a lot of nice buffs, specifically also being an orb booster now to striker and shooter characters, having a much better captain ability, and Hody Jones also becoming even more of a speed captain than what he once was, and also providing buffs to shooter and powerhouse now, just instead of being mono powerhouse. So they've given both of these units immense buffs, and I think that if you are like really close to getting them to that max level limit break, then purchasing 1 to 2 copies might not be a terrible idea. But once again, you should probably wait until the end of the month before it leaves, just to make sure that you don't accidentally pull them in the middle of the month, and then you end up having to, you know, get a dupe copy, and it just doesn't work out in your favor. So you may want to just hold off on getting these characters from the Metal Exchange. But these ones are definitely worth picking up, especially if you are close to getting their max level limit break. The next batch is kind of interesting, the 250 medal tier. You've got Sanji and Judge, and also Monkey D. Luffy, which is the super type Luffy. I'm actually a big fan of both of these characters. Both of them have really nice abilities, but unfortunately Sanji and Judge, them being a dual character, means that, you know, they're probably not going to be receiving a buff anytime soon. They do have a pretty useful special, getting rid of paralysis and being a 2x orb booster for powerhouse characters. Their switch effect being also incredibly valuable, getting rid of their own special bind, giving themselves a tandem slot, and giving you a 1.25 chain multiplicative buff. Like, Sanji and Judge are still pretty decent on paper, just not a very good captain, of course. And then Monkey D. Luffy, of course, when he gets his evolution, when he evolves into the 6-star form, he has access to the super typing, which is like a 2x attack boost for the crew. He's a 2.5x orb booster. He does damage. He gives you a full board of slots. like, Luffy's still solid, but unfortunately it's a Luffy character, which means there's inevitably going to be overlap with him and other types of Luffys in the game. So you do have to keep that in mind if you do opt to pick up Luffy, but once again, if you're really close to getting their level limit breaks to max, that may sway some people into picking the characters up, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think these characters are actually worth it. And then we have the 400 medal tier, and I don't think it's much of a surprise that we're getting the Halloween characters return. It is a little surprising that Halloween Perona didn't make an appearance once again, so that's a little bizarre. But you've got Mihawk. I do like Mihawk. He has a very good support effect attaching to Zora, and if you do a damage dealing special, get rid of 3 turns of Rainbow Shield. Pretty good to have. Both Mihawk and Law have great captain abilities for mono int teams, and while the multiplier is, not really being as enticing as what we would have hoped for, looking at it now, in hindsight, he was very good back in the day, but looking at it now, definitely a lot weaker. But the fact that he reduces 10 turns of paralysis as a captain is so valuable, and sometimes you want to build teams just around him as a captain, just due to that alone. And then an attack boost that can give you over multi-stage effects, which is really, really nice too. And his super type actually gives you a full board of matching slots. So I think Mihawk is very solid, but he doesn't really see that much play. I think Law is going to be a more valuable choice for more people out there, as he gets rid of Despair by 10 turns, and his captain ability is a bit more forgiving with the multipliers. He has more health, of course, too, and this guy's super type allows you to get a 50% health back, which is kind of nice to have, and he has a multi-turn orb boosting effect, and if you're above 50% when you launch the special, actually, you don't even have to be above 50%. It's just whenever you launch the special, which that's actually kind of cool, you cannot be KO'd for 1 turn, so you can survive death hits and stuff like that. But the thing is that it's a Law character, and Law has great supports, so you do have to keep that in mind as well, that Law will probably see a lot of play just due to the supports, and I think the Despair removal in the captain might be a bit more useful to have. Then you got Boa Hancock, and I have used Boa a lot, and if you guys are still looking to do Grand Voyage versus Buggy, you want to pick up Boa Hancock. Her special is so valuable, getting rid of the special bind, getting rid of attack down, base attack boost, can give you multi-turn chain lock, can extend your base attack boost if you are doing that in some fashion, but her special is so powerful. 6 turns of special bind and attack down, that alone is worth it, I would think. And then Boa doesn't have that many good supports, unfortunately. Her super type isn't very desirable. Her captain ability is usable, but not very useful, I think. I think in a lot of content, you would probably opt to use her as a crewmate rather than as a captain. So to be honest, I don't really think Boa Hancock is overly worth picking up, but I think if you are still looking to do Grand Voyage versus Buggy, Boa is definitely a good pickup. And then Robin and Jinbei, and I think without doubt this is the #1 character in this Sugo medal exchange that you should be looking into. This character has seen a lot of play over the last couple of months with the great utility, removing threshold and damage reduction by 6, attack down by 6, getting rid of -2 cooldown as well, 1000 base attack boost to all characters. Obviously with the crewmate ability, I think you have to get the limit break in order to get it, but the limit break ability will allow you to get rid of the special reverse, which is nice for the character, and then you've got the switch ability, which can give you adjacent slots matching and damage reduction every single turn, and the super switch gives you a full board of matching slots, healing, and 70% damage reduction. So that is really nice. And Robin and Jinbei both have amazing supports as well. Unfortunately, none of these characters are real standouts in Pirate Rumble, so if you are more of a Pirate Rumble player, it's probably not the Sugo medal exchange for you, but I think overall, out of just the Sugo Fest exclusives, Robin and Jinbei is without doubt the best character to be picking up here. It's probably the character that will help you the most in content, due to the utility, due to the supports, due to everything. And then just overall, that's pretty much it. That's the rundown of all the characters here. So once again, the 400 medal tier, Robin and Jinbei is the best. The 250 medal tier, kind of up to your discretion. And then the 150 medal tier, if you're really close to maxing these guys out, I would probably advise to do it because they're both amazing buffs with their level limit breaks. And then for the treasure map rare recruits, I think that these characters are a little underwhelming and not really worth picking up. I think Bato is not worth picking up. The rare recruits, definitely don't waste your medals here because you can pull these characters in legitimately every Sugo Fest ever, so don't do that. And then the World Journey characters, I think that picking these characters up eventually over time will be kind of valuable. Definitely the newest batch with Hancock, Mihawk, and Crocodile are the most valuable ones to be picking up due to their utility effects. Sanji and Reiju are okay, and then the original batch doesn't really see any play anymore either. But that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Really hope you guys enjoyed this one today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.